Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? This is Dr. Maul coming to you live today from Family 360 here in Conyers, Georgia, with communication. We're still on this topic of communication, and we continue to be on this topic for a couple more weeks. As I promised you, I'm going to take my time to get to this topic so we can do the proper job and effective job of teaching, teaching this course. This topic is so essential to us as individuals and as couples and as parents and friends and, it all around. We need to learn how to invest in communication, sharing our thoughts, needs and opinions properly and effectively. So welcome, Family 360. We are located in Conyers, Georgia, 2012 East View Parkway here in Conyers. Our phone number is 770-679-0586. And if you have a comment, you can email me at dmaul, that's D-M-A-U-L, at family360center.com. Family 360 Center, we are a licensed outpatient counseling facility where we have a wide range of clientele from children all the way up to senior citizens. Our goal is not only to share the gospel through these means, but also to share some basic practical counseling, life-giving skills that are Bible-based. I believe every therapy, every mode of intervention is found in the Bible. We just have to take time to study the Word and see how God is communicating to us through His Word in this present day and time. Whether it's mental illness, social challenges, we sometimes assume that healing is only for physical illnesses, and that's so wrong. Because again, if you read the Word, you will see men and women were delivered from mental illnesses as well. So welcome. This is Family 360. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I went to school for. This is what I believe God has called me to do all my life, whether I'm pastoring or teaching or counseling. I'm a counselor. I'm an encourager at heart. It's my gift. Not everybody can do this. Some have tried and they have burned out. They have gone to do something else. I've been doing this for quite a while. I don't want to date myself, but I go way back, way back, way back. So welcome. You can support Family 360 by giving through our website at family360center.com. You can give safely through PayPal, or you can, send us a check in the mail as a monthly partner or as a one-time gift to Family 360, 2012 East View Parkway, Conyers, Georgia, Suite 400, 30013. We are looking for partners who can invest. We are in the process of expanding this outreach ministry. Mental health is so clearly needed. It doesn't matter what part of the country you traverse. Our mental health system is chaotic, unpredictable, insufficient. Any time of the day, no matter where you go or night, you don't have enough beds. You don't have enough mental health counselors, especially if you're a veteran. The veteran administration has come under so much assault because they cannot meet the mental health needs of their consumers. So Family 360 is stepping up. We have applied to the Veterans Administration to be included as a provider with one of their subcontractors. So we're doing everything. So we're expanding. We have met with the state, and the state has given us about 12 months to show that we can do what we want to do come 2018. So Starting January through December, we'll be having some medical staff on board. And, you know, we are not rich, we need financial support. So if you can help us in any way, in investment, your money is guaranteed and will be paid back to you. Give me a call at 770-679-0586. I'm finishing up on our business plan. So you will also, if you're an investor, you can also have that to see the steps, you know, the thoughts that have gone into the expansion, the growth of this agency. So we trust that God will bless you. If you're a church, you are welcome, you know, to invest in this ministry, because we want to begin to focus on the church, because the church many times the church believes that mental health is their enemy. The church believes that psychiatry is their enemy, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. So one of the prongs of this ministry is to educate the church, partner with the church, reach out to the church to provide services for mental health clients in their congregations. So again, if you are interested as a pastor, as a church, as a missions board, or in whatever capacity, please give me a call, 770-679-0586. If you're a business individual, you want to invest to support this ministry, to arrest some of the significant and address some of the mental health challenges, social issues in East Georgia. We are in East Georgia, and that's where we are expanding. Then give me a call. We can sit down and talk. 770-679-0586. And God bless you. Please visit our website, and there you can see the different services that we're offering. And our website is being updated. You know, next time you go, you may see something different. I'm just trying to craft it in a way that will address the needs of our consumers and our population, the targeted population, especially African Americans, Asians, Latinos. We don't use mental health to the degree that we should. And as a result, the tragedies, the family dysfunction, the abuse is quadrupled, many times horrible, when we hear about some of the things that we minorities have done to one another and to ourselves. So we are praying, I'm praying that Family 360 can make a difference, okay? Why don't you join me? Come on board. Let's sit down and talk and exchange some ideas about how we can go forward. I'm not averse to input, and especially if you're going someplace, if you have some good ideas, let's talk. Let's talk. If that is your calling, if you feel that if God has laid us a burden in your heart for the social problems, the mental problems in our community, please let's get together. I need some business partners. I need volunteers when we go into next year. You know, we're going to be doing a lot of marketing, social media. This is one of the efforts. YouTube, Facebook, Xeno Live, Twitter, to get the word out, to get the message out that there's a Christian faith-based ministry here that is focusing. I gave a pastoring to focus on this, that is focusing on the mental health challenges in our communities and in our church. So again, you can email me at dmaul@family360center.com, or you can call 770-679-0586. If I'm not here, if my secretary is not here, if no one answers his phone, leave a message. I'll be glad to get back to you as soon as possible. Don't hang up the phone if nobody answers. Leave a message, please. Let's do so. All right, so today we want to continue. I was looking over this transcript, and a lot of these teachings are not original. Let me say that. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's some excellent material, books, articles on so many topics out here. So basically what I do, I read a lot, I do a lot of research, and if I find something that's good, I'm going to use it. Oh yes, and add thoughts and opinion as we go through these lessons. So communication, I was looking through what I have to go through. Maybe another 2 weeks. I'm not going to cut it short, please. It's going to be a long series. I think next to Women of the Bad Girls of the Bible, this may be one of the longest series I'm going to be teaching on. And if it's a blessing to you, use it. Okay, use it. God bless you. So today we want to look at some of the traits, some of the characteristics of negative communication. Negative communication. Every person, every last one of us, including me. I am supposedly an expert on some of these things. Can I tell you something? I don't know everything. You know, and if I don't know something, I'm not going to lie to you. I got a very, very good library, a vast. Do you know something? I have kept all my textbook from undergraduate years, from my undergraduate years in the 1970s. I can't tell you how old I am. I've kept all my textbook for my undergraduate, my master's, my bachelor's, my master's, my doctorate, and all the other courses. I'm always taking courses. I'm always, to keep my license, I always have to be doing CEUs, continuation, you know, credits. And I keep everything. I don't throw anything away. So if I need something, if I run across something that's bothering me, I go in my library, spend some time. I can also Google. I Google everything, but I have supplemental information in my in my library. So I'm not going to be lying to you if I don't know something. You know, I will go look it up. So, and that does not make me an expert. But every person, every one of us, make mistakes when it comes to communicating. When it comes to communicating with each other, when it comes to communicating with the significant people in our lives, when it comes to communicating with the Lord, with God Almighty, we all make mistakes. And without thinking, we attempt to meet our needs, our inner needs, our external needs, by speaking and responding in ways that sometimes intimidate others, sometimes destroy others, sometimes humiliate others, sometimes embarrass others. Sometimes we are in that, and forgive me, but it's so tempting because he's such a great example of this. Donald Trump in his political campaign, Lord have mercy, there is not a person on the face of the earth, except maybe for white men, white middle-aged men. But everybody else he has insulted. Everybody, every race, every other race, the other gender, the female gender, the disabled. He's done some very, very inappropriate things. I believe prosecutors should go after him, the things that he's done to some women, with his sexual aggression. I'm not going to say assault, aggression to many women. These women are not lying. In the same way some of these prosecutors have gone after Bill Cosby, they need to go after Donald Trump and lock his behind up. He needs to be locked up because they're copycats out here. I guarantee you, you have men, you got young boys who will do a Donald Trump with a woman, with a girl. I guarantee you it's happening. And it's sad, it's ugly that you see many of these women supporting him. And I said, where is their self-esteem? Would they like Donald Trump to do to, and as a man, I think some of them would. Donald Trump can do to them what some of these other women accuse him of doing. I believe they would allow Donald Trump to do to their daughters what these other women have accused him of doing. How can you as a female, where's your dignity? Where is your pride? Huh? Where are you, and don't let me talk about those so-called evangelical Christians who support Donald Trump. They make me sick to my stomach. These evangelicals, all of a sudden they throw all their Christian values, all the Bible, the 10 Commandments, they throw it out the window because they hate the Clintons so much that these evangelicals will go to hell with Donald Trump rather than calling him out and standing up to him. See, that's why I don't watch them on television. I may watch two people on television on a Sunday morning. That's it. TD Jakes, David Jeremiah, the other guy from Houston. You know, that's about it. The rest of them, oh God, help me. I see them. I go watch a movie instead, because you preach one thing but you live something else. Your hypocrisy is outstanding. The hypocrisy that we see with many of our evangelical and liberal preachers. Well, that's not what I'm talking about, but it was on my chest and I need to get it off. Proverbs 2:12 says, wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse. Wisdom will save you. Discernment will save you from the ways of wicked men. There are ways, there are words that we use, verbal words. There are nonverbal ways and expressions and habits that we use to wound and wrong others. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in this lesson. The words that we use. I'm trying to narrow it down to be a little more specific. The words we use to harm others. Next time when I'm back here, we will be talking about some of the ways we have gone about harming others. But today, let's focus on the words. Again, Proverbs 2:12 says, wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men. I throw words in there as well. From men whose words, so we have both here, ways and words, words and ways. In our communication, we must be aware of the words of the communicator and the listener, and the ways of the communicator and the listener. God is telling us here. He is reminding us. He is telling us that we must be mindful of how we communicate, verbally and non-verbally. The ways we communicate, how we go about communicating. Proverbs 16:23 says, a wise man's heart guides his mouth. A wise man's heart. Are you wise? Then your heart should guide your mouth. Are you wise? Your heart, if you're wise, your heart will guide you. But your words, the words that leave your mouth will either lift you up or betray you. The words that leave your mouth will either lift you up or betray you. It is essential that you come to an understanding that your words will either build others up or it will put them down. So here are some words that wound, words that harm, words that defile, words that disrespect. Here are some degrading words. When you as an individual are very thoughtless, when you're insensitive, when you are teasing, when you are wisecracking, when you are critical of others, when you are coarse, when you display a lack of tact or you are tactless, when you demonstrate or display expressions, careless expressions, these words are inappropriate. These behaviors, these ways about you are inappropriate. How would you describe the words that you use in your communication? And especially, you know, we have people that get on our skin. There are some people that can take us there. And therefore, we use some of these degrading, despicable, insensitive, thoughtless words in our interactions with them. Proverbs 12:18 says, reckless words pierce like a sword. Reckless words pierce like a sword. I don't know about you, man, but I've been the victim, and I'm not playing the victim role, but I've been the victim, going back from my childhood days, of some words that cut deep. And even now, I still remember. So I was sharing this with someone the other day that, in college, this counselor said something to me, and man, even today, I still remember it. Because she at that time because of the color of my skin, I wanted to be a medical doctor. And she said something to me, man, when I think about it, it makes me angry. It made me angry back then, and even now, I'm not as angry, but it shows me the racism that's in our culture that we are still wrestling with. Other people have said hurtful things, whether it's a spouse, a friend, a stranger who don't know you, a church member, a leader in a church. Their thoughtlessness, their tactlessness, their indelicate thoughts or expressions, their criticism left wounds. But what has kept me through the years, I have learned to forgive, even though I remember. And by the way, that's the title of my book. It should be out in March. The title of my book is Forgive, Yes, Forget No. Forgive, yes, forget no. You see, because if I had not forgiven some of those people, I wouldn't be here today. Maybe I would be depressed. Maybe I would be 6 feet under, dead, buried, gone. But thank God I'm here for my children, my grandchildren. I'm here for others. And look at this ministry. Look at what God is doing with a poor little boy from Hanover, Jamaica. Way back in Jamaica. Never envisioned myself here. I thought I would be a medical doctor someplace, healing and curing people in other ways. But God has a way of steering us in the path He wants us to go. Reckless words pierce like a sword. Have you been stabbed with words lately? Have you been cut? Have you been pierced? Have you been sliced and diced by the words of somebody close to you? And you know what hurts the most? Are those close to you. You and I anticipate and expect that strangers, people who don't know us, may say hurtful things, but they are strangers, and you just, it's like water off duck's back, as they say. You just let it flow, let it go. But when it's a family member, when it's a spouse, when it's a child, when it's someone close to you, when it's a friend, when it's a co-worker, when it's a boss, when it's yourself, because many times we say some horrible things to ourselves and about us. Many times we are our worst enemy. We got this enemy in us. We got this critical spirit in us, that we use to beat ourselves up. That's why so many of us are in a state of depression all the time, because it's that critical voice in your head, that negative thought, that negative spirit in your head that keeps you in that funk. Some of us don't seem to be able to get out of lethargy, depression, anxiety for long periods of time. You know some people like that, they look as if they are always stressed out, always depressed, always anxious, always angry, always frustrated. And it's not the things around them that's causing it, it's the thoughts. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's the thoughts in their heads. It's what they're processing. It's what they are allowing the enemy, to bring into their minds, and they don't just let it go, they hold on to it. Let me give you a piece of advice. I think Ron Canoli, one of my favorite singers, sang this song. He said, if you're catching hell, don't hold it. If you're going through hell, don't stop. Ron Canoli, look at that. And I love that song. If you're catching hell, I think he said his pastor was preaching a sermon on that theme, and man, he was sitting in the congregation, and God just gave him that song. If you're catching hell, don't hold it. If you're going through hell, don't stop. Many of us have very hellish thoughts that ruin our days, months, and years. Thoughts that put some of us in the mental asylum. Thoughts that put some of us on medication. Thoughts that make some of us suicidal. Thoughts that kill some of us because we become suicidal. Thoughts that make some of us homicidal. Some of us are in prison today. We are sitting in jail because of those crazy, negative, intrusive, irrational thoughts that we bought into. Stop buying into those crazy, negative thoughts. Challenge them. There are always alternative thoughts you can come up with. For every negative, crazy thought that you're experiencing on a daily basis or a moment by moment basis, replace them with the opposite. Replace them with something positive. And begin to feel good about yourself. Begin to lift yourself up. Begin to see some hope. Begin to see some light. Begin to see the possibilities. And stop dwelling so much on the negative. What does the word say? The word says, reckless words pierce like a sword. Reckless, bad, reckless words. And if you're and this is part of our problem, we associate ourselves with people, with friends, with colleagues, with co-workers, with family members, significant others who use reckless words to pierce, dice, and cut us every moment they get. Every moment they get. And why do you subject yourself? Why do you subject yourself to such daily, constant cutting up? Many of the people in our lives, they're very, very toxic. They're not good for us. They're not healthy. They're like poison. They're like iodine. If you take too much iodine, it's going to kill you. If you associate, if you keep associating with negative, contrary, dehumanizing folks, quarrelsome folks. Some people, they're quarrelsome about every little thing. You're going to become like them. The saying goes, if you lay with sheep, with dogs, you catch flea. If you lay with dogs, you catch flea. You're also known by the company you keep. Birds of a feather flock together. You want me to come up with some more? Listen. Change your perspective, change your atmosphere, change your environment. Get away from that bad. It's like a drug addict. A drug addict will never recover. As long as, that drug addict could go to rehabilitation 3, 4, 5 times a year. But if every time he or she gets out of that rehab, they go right back to the same house, to the same community, to the same environment, to the same friends, to the same family dysfunction, that person will never recover. They may kill themselves in the process because they have tried and tried and tried, but they have not done the thing that they need to do, which is move themselves, remove themselves from that environment. You have to. If you're going to keep your recovery, if you're going to keep your sobriety, if you're going to stay sane, you got to get away from the insane people. You got to get away from the toxic the crazy people, the uncaring people, the unsympathetic people, the person who is sarcastic and loves to tell you where to go and what to do with yourself. And by the way, some of them call themselves Christians. You go to a church that beats you up, that talks about the sin in your life every day. You need to find a new church that can lift you up. You ever go to church and leave tired, mentally exhausted? Something is wrong. So the Bible says, Proverbs, again, 2:12, wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men. Are you wise? And from men whose words are perverse. Withdraw yourself, remove yourself. Proverbs 16:23, a wise man's heart guides his mouth. You can change. Even if you are an old dog, you can teach an old dog new tricks. You can change your ways. It's voluntary. It's predictable. You can change. You can stop yourself in your tracks and don't use those words. You can rat it out if you have to. You can find other ways of communicating your needs and feelings and all that stuff. You do not have to be so mean-spirited, so evil. Degrading words. Proverbs 12:18, reckless words pierce like a sword. Reckless words, careless words pierce. Degrading words, they leave long time, lifetime damage. They're not temporary. You see many of our prisoners and some who are dead, they got into their circumstances because of the negativity, the piercing words that were coming, from others. The piercing words that others were saying to them, the destructive words that were coming, towards them, that were being hurled at them. And sometimes we just don't know how to handle those situations. We just don't know how to. And we get angry and we brood until one day we do something untoward, not normal. We snap and we hurt somebody. Sometimes intentionally, many times unintentionally, and we end up in jail, handcuffs, in prison someplace, with a record because of piercing words. We have lost marriages, good marriages. We have lost good friendships, good relationships, because of the piercing words of a friend, a spouse. Some of us have cut our children off, or our children may have cut us off. They don't want no contact with us. You may have cut off a son or a daughter. You may have cut off a mother or a father because of the words that were those piercing words that have wounded you, and you have not been able to get over it down through the years. Some of us have walked away from marriages because of the piercing words of a spouse. We have done so. The abusive words. Some people don't have to hit you for it to be abused. All they gotta do is open their trap, open their mouth, and begin to let you have it. Those words, they wound. In many of our churches, every Sunday morning, there are people in those pews who are bleeding. Many of our churches, every Sunday morning, the pews, whether they're packed or half empty, where there's a handful, you got bleeding saints who have been wounded during the week, wounded for days, months, years, decades. And many of them don't seek healing. Many of them don't seek forgiveness, you see, because many leave church and they go back home to that wounded person. And yes, many of them have given up. piercing words. Reckless words pierce like a sword. How about this other one? The demanding words. Proverbs 27:4 says, anger is cruel and fury overwhelming. When you are someone who loves to order others around, when you love to demand, make your demands because of your ego, your pride, who you think you are, what you think you have, Donald Trump, ooh. When you love to order people around, when you threaten people, when you love to argue with others, when you are cursing, and some of us, we curse pretty good. If there was a degree in counseling, some of us would have a PhD. If there was a degree in profanity, if a university, you know what? Maybe this is a course for some of these universities to offer. A PhD, a bachelor's, master's, and a PhD in cursing. Many of us would be at a PhD level. When you as a person love to accuse, you don't want to hear the facts. You just go with what you feel, what you think, or what you may have heard. You don't want the facts. You go about accusing. When you become suspicious, you base your words, your actions, your prosecution on those feelings. When you become the FBI, when you become like what's his name, Scotland Yard, or Sherlock Holmes. When you become the police detective and you believe that you have someone trapped in that interrogation room, when you become angry with words, if you keep telling people you better do this now, or who are you? When you become so questioning of others, you question, and some of you are living with men and women who think they are Sherlock Holmes. They can read you, see through you, read your mind, predict where you were, what you were doing, and what you're going to do. How can you be happy in such a marriage? How can you be happy in such a relationship? How can you be happy in such a friendship? Tell me. How can you live on a moment by moment, day by day? I walked away from a marriage just because of stuff like that. It doesn't matter what you do, it's never enough. When you're always living with someone who's always persecuting you, not only persecuting, but they're prosecuting you, every little thing that you do becomes prosecutorial. That's the word. You are given the third degree. After a while, it weighs you down. It makes you depressed. It makes you suicidal. It makes you homicidal. So before you do any of those things, take a walk. Before you turn a gun on yourself and on your spouse and on your children and everybody else that's out here, you listen to the national news and local news, so many black men, Asian men, Latino men, white men are now turning guns on their spouses, their women, their children, on themselves and on the police. Police now doing a manhunt out west for a man who got so frustrated and angry he killed 2 people and shot up 2 cars. And so this happens on a daily basis. Kids take guns to school. They shoot up the school. They shoot each other. Guys walking down the street, somebody's going to rob you just because you're wearing a nice dress, or they think you got money in your wallet. Help us, Jesus. Do you see the crime rate? All because of what? What's going on the inside of us? What someone may have said to us. how we were raised in a dysfunctional home. The verbal conflicts we've had with significant others, they can set us on a path of destruction, self-destruction and other destruction. Communication. I wonder how many people have, if we could quantify this and, study this, how many of us, how many human beings have taken their lives and taken the lives of others? How many have given up on their dreams, goals, desires? How many are walking around in rage, angry all day long because of something that was said to them? How many are dead and buried, jumped off of a bridge, walk in front of a car, a bus, a truck, put a gun to their head, put a knife to a vein, just cut themselves until they bleed to death? How many of us today, how many men and women are drinking themselves to death, are shooting up with heroin and cocaine because of degrading words? You see, these sicknesses and diseases, these behaviors, these evil intentions didn't just spring up one day, suddenly pop up. It's been brooding for a while. And many of us, we want relief because it's so overwhelming, it hurts so bad that we want some relief, and it doesn't matter what the relief is: drugs, sex, workaholism, reckless driving, homicide, suicide, food, obesity. We're gonna find that relief from that stress, from that low opinion, from of ourselves, from those degrading, embarrassing words, those demanding words. Some of us, we get off work, we don't want to go home because we know we know who's waiting there for us. You may be the one bringing home the check, but you don't run that house. You don't bring, the check is not big enough. You don't bring home the right amount of money. You're gonna get it. You're gonna hear it. You running out of money. The month is still here, and you don't have no. Oh, the pressure is gonna come in. The fights, verbal fights, sometimes even physical fights, that domestic violence, the abuse is gonna start. You don't want to go home, so you stop at the bar for a happy hour, and you get drunk because you know what's going to happen at home. How many of us are inundated with so much stress, so much anxiety, that we self-medicate because of the words in our environments, because of those abusive men, women we live with, children, friends we live with, or we know, we associate with, and we have a hard time pulling away from them. It's like pig. You can take a pig out of the mud hole. You can wash that pig up, clean it up, wash it down in Old Spice. Old Spice is still here. Lord have mercy. Since I was a kid, Old Spice, and it's still here. So obviously men and women still using Old Spice. Wash that pig down in Old Spice. Smells sweet, looks good, clean as a whistle. You give that pig a moment to get away from you, it goes right back to the mud. Can't change, can't get away from its nature. That's the way some of us are. We go from one bad relationship to the next. We don't know how to pull ourselves away. Many times it kills us. You see, we get an intoxication. Oh, I had promised you. Man, where's that story? Oh, shucks. That story about how the brain, the amygdala, is stimulated by lies and by certain degree of communication. Scientific study. I was reading about it the other day. Anger is cruel and fury overwhelming. Many people use anger to control, to dictate. Many of us use rage, fury to get our way, to structure our environment, to create boundaries in our lives. That's the way some of us run our homes. We must have that mild-mannered woman. We must have that mild-mannered man who's not going to challenge us. And if they dare challenge us, we're going to beat them down verbally, physically, or non-verbally. Some of us American men now, we don't want to deal with American women too aggressive, too opinionated. So we have mail order brides. We get them from Russia, the Philippines, Thailand, anywhere we think we can find a mild-mannered woman, you're going to go get them. Jamaica. Yeah. But then watch out, them Jamaican men can turn in here. Demeaning words. Demeaning words. Proverbs 18:21. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. You are a moralist. You dictate and you decide what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. It has to go through you. You're a preacher. You know the Bible. You don't apply it to your life, but when it's convenient, guess what? You use it to dictate, control, corral, humiliate, embarrass, and to have your way. You're the professor. You love to lecture. You love to teach. You're the psychiatrist. You like to read everybody. You want to write them a prescription. You could be the worst psychiatrist, lecturer, preacher, moralizer, but you can't see it in yourself. You can see it in everything and everyone else around you. You're the judge. You're gonna give sentence, regardless of the facts that may be contrary to your thoughts, your opinions, and your feelings. You have already come up with some judgment, and you're gonna condemn somebody to some fate that you would not like if the shoe was on the other foot. You're a critic. Oh, you're better than, what's his name, Roger Ebert. I think he died a couple of years ago. The movie critic. You're the critic. You're very good at it. Maybe you should come up with a resume so you can get paid for your criticism. You're good at it. You're very good at it. You can also get a PhD in the field of criticism. Yeah? You are the disapproval. If you don't approve it, it's not going to be done. And all hell break loose in your house if your wife or your children go and do something, if your husband do something without your approval, if your friend does something without your approval, all hell breaks loose. Somebody gonna have to pay. Condemning words, and you love to use them. You love to use them. You love to tell people, oh, you should do better. You don't mean me no good. You see, because everything now is about you. Destructive words. Destructive words, Proverbs 18:21, again reminds us, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Deceitful words, Lord have mercy. How demeaning are you? How destructive are your words? Proverbs 11:9 says, with his mouth, the godless destroys his neighbor. That's Proverbs. Proverbs 11:9 says, with your mouth, with his mouth, with her mouth, the godless destroys his or her neighbor. Through what? Gossiping. I hate gossipers. Don't bring me your gossip. God hates gossip. You love to carry rumors. You love to carry your susu here, your susu there. You're all over the place. You're in other people's business. You don't mind your stink. You don't mind your mess. You are in other people's business. Mind your own business. Shut your mouth. Walk away. Leave it alone. Ignore it. No, you got to carry news. And the people's business is on social media. They share a testimony in church. It's on social media. You get on the phone and everybody in your family knows what's going on in your house. They know what's going on in your bedroom. Should be ashamed of yourself. There are no boundaries with you, no limitations with you. Everything goes. Everything is for public airing, public discussion. The devil is a liar. You cannot be trusted. Your spouse shuts down on you because over the years they know you cannot be trusted with certain information. And so spouses end up lying. Men end up lying. Women end up lying. They don't tell you the truth. They cannot be honest with you because they know them the moment they share something with you, it hits the wind, it hits the whirlwind, and it's like a forest fire and it's gone. It's gone. They get shamed, they get embarrassed, and you may apologize, but you cannot take it back because you already put it out there with your family, your friends, with even strangers. Strangers. Some of you will go walk up to a stranger. As a matter of fact, not even a stranger. You'll walk up to a goat. You'll walk up to a horse and say, guess what? Guess what's going on in my house? You cannot stay quiet. You cannot keep a secret. If it was to save your life, you would be dead. A lot of you will be dead today if you were to keep a secret. You bring your in-laws in. They got no business in your business. You bring your kids in. They got no business in your marriage. You bring your friends in. They got no business in. You bring all kind of people and all kind of stuff in your, and you're wondering why you are alone. You're wondering why you're by yourself. You're wondering why your woman stepped out on you. You're wondering why your man stepped out on you. You wonder why they don't want to talk to you. They have nothing to say to you. There's no affection, no intimacy, no communication. What do you think this is? And you call yourself a Christian, huh? What Bible are you following? What word are you listening to? You see, all you're doing, you're projecting your hostility, your anger, your shame, your guilt, your wounds on others. And you have iron gates. You know, it's like some houses. Every window has an iron grill. Every door has an iron grill, and sometimes in an emergency, those people can't get out, and they end up perished because they barred, they locked themselves in, and they end up being killed at their own hands. Some of you, you have lost, you're paying the price. You're paying the price for your gossips, for your susus, and your susu, and then what else? He said, with his mouth, with her mouth, the godless destroys his neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Your children, your spouse, your friend, you. What do you think people think about you when you run to them with your gossip, with your nonsense? You're bringing your spouse down. You're bringing your children down. You're bringing your friends down. Those people you're talking to, what do you think they think about you? You know why? They said, I can't trust her. I got to keep her at arm's length. I got to keep him at arm's length. I cannot let that person know certain things about that person you're gossiping to. Oh, they have their walls. They have their boundaries when it comes to you. Because you have revealed to them, you have shown them that you cannot be trusted, that you are a backstabber. That's why some women will replace you in that marriage. That's why some men are going to replace you in that marriage. That's why your kids, when they're up and grown, they're gone. They don't want nothing to do with you. That's why your fellow Christians, they don't want to come to your house. You invite them to an event, they're not going to show up because they know whatever they say and do, even what they wear, is gossip, is grist for the mill. Deceitful words, lying, false statements, false accusations, exaggerations, bragging, boasting, flattering. You are very insincere, untruthful words. Proverbs 15 and verse 4 says, a deceitful tongue crushes or crushes the spirit. A deceitful tongue crushes the spirit. It crushes any person around you, any person associated with you. Your deceitfulness, your manipulations, your underhandedness, crush them so they walk away from you. It could be a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a child, a person you thought was your best friend. Why do you think they walk away from you? Why do you think they left you? Huh? Why do you think they want nothing more to do with you? Tell me. Your deceptions have betrayed you. Your lying has betrayed you. Your moralizing has betrayed you. Your judgments have betrayed you. Your threats have betrayed you. Your insensitivity have betrayed you. Your camouflage, you camouflaging, wearing person you, they have betrayed you. After a while, people get to see you for what you are and who you are, and they want nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. They cut you off. They cut you out of their lives. They moved on without you, even at significant cost. Some men have had to walk away from a house. Some women have had to walk away from the security of finances. Had to do that because of your deceitful, deceptive, demeaning, negative ways. It hurts. It wounds. And you think you are lovely, huh? Jesus said in one scripture, outwardly, you look good. He said, oh, you look like a whitened sepulcher. Look good on the outside, but inside there are rotten bones. There are dead bones. It stinks on the inside. And no matter how pretty you look, no matter how gorgeous you think you are, no matter how self-sufficient you think you are, you continue to put others down. You continue to dehumanize. You continue to dominate and control and threaten people with your words. It's going to cost you. It may end up killing you. You're going to lose a whole lot. And you may end up by yourself, an old woman, an old man, complaining that you have no friends, nobody to be with you. This is Dr. Maul with Family 360. Man, I hope this was good for you. It was good for me. So I'll see you next time. Join me here. Join me here. Give me a call. Give me a write. Write me up. Send me an email. And listen, God bless you. Use these teachings to help you. We've made a lot of mistakes. Hey, I'm the first one to admit that. But I've learned, even at my age, I've learned how to take my wounds, my pains to the Lord. I've learned how to walk away from negative, toxic, crazy, dysfunctional people. I won't let your words, if I can help it, I won't let your words wound and hurt me. So until tomorrow, God bless you real good and be safe. Okay? Bye-bye.